Here are 12 stories you cannot afford to miss today. These are stories that I put together. 32 billion naira stolen from power projects. The minister just got arrested in Kaduna State. A teacher was beheaded on camera by kidnappers in Oyo State. And the video went viral on Telegram. Peter Obi is now the only presidential candidate in NDC. Former President Goodluck Jonathan was declared PDP presidential candidate.
Will you keep quiet?
Rumors are that it was not even on seat for screening. Amaechi looked into the camera and told Atiku directly, "I hope this will be the first time you will fail a primary." El-Rufai was granted bail and rearrested the same afternoon. He told the DSS officer, "I am not a furniture to be moved." 6 military officers are on trial for plotting to overthrow Tinubu, and Tinubu's own chief of staff almost lost his job because of Desmond Elliot. Oh, and Cubana Chief Priest went to an APC primaries with 2,845 voters. He got only 14 votes. Those are 12 stories happening around Nigeria right now, and today we are going to be covering them. Welcome to the Daily Rundown episode 1. Welcome back to my channel. This is Adeoti Abayomi. I cover Nigerian politics, current affairs, breaking news with facts, no sentiments, no propaganda, just balance. Subscribe right now and turn on the post notification. Today we are launching something new on this channel. Every day we will bring to you every major Nigerian story in one video. Politics, security, economy, entertainment, and all of it all in one place, so you never miss a thing. This is episode 1 of the Daily Rundown. Let's get into it. Story 1. Teacher beheaded by kidnapper in Oyo State. I'm starting with this story because it broke my heart, and it broke many people's heart this week. Because before we talk about politics and primaries and candidates, we need to first talk about a man named Michael Oyedokun. Michael Oyedokun was a teacher. His only crime was that he went to school on Friday morning like any other day. He was in school at Orire local government area in Oyo State. One of the school attacked by the gunmen who arrived on motorcycle. They took teachers, took pupils. A video was released by the kidnappers on Sunday. That video captured that the gunmen was beheaded. They were beheading Oyedokun. He was tied up and forced to speak before they gruesomely unalived him. A teacher doing his job, gone. Governor Makinde confirmed the elimination and said the 6 suspects have been arrested. He said the state government is deploying both kinetic and non-kinetic strategies to secure the release of the remaining victims. But here is what makes this even more painful. Amnesty International confirmed that at least 82 school children have been abducted between May 13 and May 15 during separate attacks in Borno State and Oyo State. And Amnesty warned that many victims of similar incidents are never released, and that the persistent threat of kidnapping is forcing families to withdraw children from school entirely. We covered this story in full details in a dedicated video. The link is in the description. But today, I just want to say this. Michael Oyedokun went to school to teach. He died just for doing his job. His family is somewhere right now grieving. The children who watch their teacher being taken, they will carry the memory for the rest of their lives. Nigeria, we must do better. We will keep saying this until something changes. Story number 2 is Peter Obi becomes the sole NDC presidential candidate. Now, let's move into 2027 presidential race because things are moving very fast at the moment. The NDC, Nigerian Democratic Congress, has announced that Peter Obi is unopposed as a presidential candidate for 2027 election. Growing indication that Kwankwaso will emerge as his running mate, the OK movement, Obi Kwankwaso. And here is how it happened. The NDC closed the sale of the presidential form, and as of the deadline, only one person purchased the form, which is Peter Obi, nobody else. So he is the sole aspirant. Shortly after Peter Obi moved to the NDC, Kwankwaso aligned with the same movement, and their growing relationship has continued to attract national attention, especially among opposition supporters seeking stronger alternative ahead of 2027. Now, remember what the OK movement represents. Obi's urban youth energy and fiscal discipline, combined with Kwankwaso's massive North grassroots machine, Obi retains significant support among the youth and urban voters, while Kwankwaso continues to command political influence in Kano and some part of the northern Nigeria through Kwankwasia movement, the Red Cap. The opposition dream ticket is taking shape already. The question remains, can it hold together and remain together all the way till January 2027? You can answer that in the comment section. Story number 3 is former President Goodluck Jonathan declared to be PDP candidate, even without him showing up. Okay, I need you to pay close attention to this one, because what happened here is genuinely one of the most Nigerian things I have ever seen in politics. The Turaki-led faction of PDP scheduled former President Goodluck Jonathan for screening as the sole presidential candidate for 2027. A 14-member screening committee were assembled, including the former Vice President Nnamdi Sambo, former Governor Jonah Jan, and former Foreign Affairs Minister Tom Ikimi. The committee sat, they waited and waited and waited. Jonathan did not show up. Members of the committee departed the venue around 4 p.m. after waiting for hours. Some reports indicated that Jonathan had even obtained form to contest the presidency. So, what did the committee do? They waived the screening entirely for Jonathan, citing his experience as a former deputy governor and a governor and a vice president and a president. They declare him the party 2027 presidential candidate anyways. The man did not come. He did not buy forms. He did not participate. Yet they declare him candidate. A PDP stalwart explained the thinking, saying they chose Jonathan because of the nostalgia Nigerians have for him. He said Jonathan carved a niche for himself, and that the one-time president offer would appeal to a certain category of voters. But here is the real political context. Everyone is whispering. A senior CAN leader said there are indications that this is an attempt to scatter the opposition vote so that none of the contenders will win, and then Tinubu can slide in as a winner again. And there is still a constitutional question hanging over everything. A federal high court in Abuja is scheduled to rule on May 26 on whether Jonathan is even constitutionally eligible to contest again, given the oath he took when he was sworn in to complete Yar'Adua's term. So, we have a man who did not show up, may have not even bought the form, may not be constitutionally eligible, and is now the presidential candidate only in Nigeria. Story number 4. Amaechi said, I did not buy form to be vice president. Now, let us stay in the 2027 race a little bit, because Rotimi Amaechi has something to say, and he's not even whispering. He was on a TV show. There has been rumors that Amaechi bought the ADC presidential form not to contest for president, but to actually position himself as Atiku's running mate, to use the form as a bargaining chip. When Amaechi heard all those rumors, he did not take it lightly. He said it clearly during a TV interview, that is Trust TV. Please stop that. I didn't buy the ADC presidential ticket to become a vice president. Then he went further and took a direct shot at Atiku.
Okay, let me put it the other way. Will you accept to be vice president? Please stop that. I didn't buy form to be vice president. Don't you ever repeat. Don't you ever. I'm not saying it.
He said, I listened to the former vice president said he has never failed the primary before. I hope this will be the first time he will fail a primary. The issue is that all the times you have passed primary, you have not won an election. So it is about electability. That is not subtle message. That is Amaechi telling Atiku directly. Winning a primary means nothing if you cannot win an election. And I have never lost a presidential primary because I have never run one before. So I'm a fresh start. I'm a fresh candidate. I have a fresh chance. Amaechi said his vision focuses on national integration, education, and equal opportunity. And the ADC presidential primary is now scheduled for May 25th, 2026, just 6 days away. 3 men going into that particular primary: Atiku, Amaechi, and Ayatudeen, the one that is a little bit silent. Only one comes out with the ticket. And the way Amaechi is talking, he is not planning to step down for anybody. Amaechi is in the no grief for anybody. I think Peter Obi saw this early and just ran away into NDC. Smart move, right? Let's head into story 5. ADC primary is now scheduled for May 25th. What is at stake? Let me take a moment to explain exactly what happens on the May 25th, because it matters enormously for the picture of 2027's opposition and election. The ADC presidential primary will be on the May 25th, and it will produce one candidate from 3: Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amaechi, Mohammed Ayatudeen. The party says it has no preferred candidate, but may consider a consensus arrangement before the primary date. Now, here is the significance. The ADC primary results combined with Peter Obi's NDC candidacy means the opposition will have minimum 2 major presidential tickets, ADC and NDC. This is before we even count PDP, Jonathan's situation, and Makide's PDP APM alliance. 4 opposition platform. Number 1 will be Tinubu with full power of the federal government behind him, unless something dramatic happens between now and 2027. That division is Tinubu's biggest advantage. You know, we deal with facts here. Every Nigerian who wants to change needs to understand that clearly. No sentiment. We are saying the truth. The May 25th ADC primary is the first real test of whether opposition can consolidate or whether it will continue to fracture. We wish them the best. Story number 6. El-Rufai was granted bail and then rearrested the same day. 91 days in custody, and day before yesterday was supposed to be the day to end. But the Federal High Court granted former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai 100 million naira bail. The judge stood the matter down until 1 p.m. and during the break, DSS operatives swept in and took him to their facility. His family said this directly violated his existing court order, directing that he remained with ICPC custody. His wife, Aisha, told reporters outside DSS headquarters that the family had lived under constant fear and constant surveillance and repeated threats throughout the 91 days of his detention. And El-Rufai himself, when the DSS tried to move him, he said something that's gone viral. He said, I'm not going to step down. There are 2 court orders from Kaduna directing that I remain with ICPC. Why are you bringing me here? I'm not a furniture to be moved. You see that word, I'm not a furniture, is funny, eh? But that's coming from a man who has been in custody for 91 days without conviction. He got bail and was taken again within hours. That tells you everything about what this man is going through and how he has chosen to face it. Atiku called this continued detention a disturbing assault on civil liberties, democratic decencies, and the rule of law, raising grave concern about the deployment of state power to intimidate perceived political adversaries. We did a dedicated video on this El-Rufai yesterday. The link is in the description, but the question I will leave for you guys is simple. When a court grants a man bail and government agency rearrests him the same afternoon, who is actually in charge? Is it the court or the government agencies? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Story number 7. APC primaries in chaos across the states. A lot of chaos. 85 people were counted as 201, and there was one that was counting 10, 100. Now, I need to understand this one. A clip from APC primary in Oyo State went viral. Maybe I should put it so that I can watch a little bit. Watch small. You can see an electoral officer physically counting delegates, jumping from 87 to 201. In one breath, 116 people appeared from thin air. Not 86, not 90, 201. With complete confidence on camera. And that was not the only state. Over 150 aggrieved aspirants across 10 states are mobilizing petitions and legal actions over irregularities. There was one that was counting 100, 200, 300,
102, 103, 104, 105.
In Plateau State, 2 returning officers announced 2 different winners from the same primary. In Castina, an aspirant was detained by DSS for 4 hours so he could not vote in his own primary. The same party, the same people, the same system. 2027 will be hot. Ah! Story number 8. Coup plot against Tinubu. Army testifies in court. This story has not been getting attention enough, and it should. 6 people, including a retired Major General and a serving police inspector, have been charged with terrorism and treason over an alleged plot to overthrow the president, Tinubu. A 7th suspect, former Bayelsa State Governor Timbre Silva, remains at large. The Nigerian army has now confirmed before the Federal High Court in Abuja that there was indeed a plot to overthrow the administration through coup d'etat. A soldier from the military police mounted the witness box and testified against the 6 alleged mastermind of the coup plot. The charges include treason, terrorism finances, suppression of intelligence, and money laundering. The case is the most serious treason prosecution since Tinubu took office in 2023. Now, the question Nigerians are asking is, who was behind this? Who funded it? And why is the former governor, Silva, a man with significant political connections, still involved? This trial will produce some very uncomfortable answers in months. Watch this space because we'll cover the story. Story number 9. Cubana Chief Priest gets 14 votes out of 245. Money na water.
70 years old man.
Okay, we need a moment of relief after the whole coup d'etat and all of that. Cubana Chief Priest, a celebrity, businessman, socialite, Imo State coordinator of the City Boy movement, decided he wanted to be a member of the House of Representatives for Oru East, Federal Constituency of Imo State. He bought the APC nomination form. He declared his ambition. He posed for photos at the party secretariat. He said, and I quote, "Now God get power, let the will of God be done." 2,845 delegates voted in that primary. Cubana Chief Priest received 14 votes. 14 out of 2,845, not even 45. The incumbent lawmaker won comfortably, and the social media went into a frenzy. Cubana reacted and said, "I'm a hustler. I didn't regret trying. My only regret was trusting the elders in the community." And then Sheyi Tinubu himself consoled him on Instagram, saying, "Bro, sometimes by losing a battle, you find a way to win the war. Keep your head up." Now, I want to say something serious for a moment. Let me say something serious. It is easy to laugh, and I understand why people are laughing. But the truth is, Nigerian politics is a machine that does not care how famous you are. You need structure. You need community trust and political network, and you will build it over the years. Fame alone does not translate into votes. Don't even joke. When I found out in a hard way, God's will indeed. And I go learn new things. Story number 10. Children killed in military airstrike in Niger State. Now, Very Dark Man was saying something, and he was reacting to Rufai Useni that people were killed and the nation is silent. This particular story deserves much more national conversation than it is getting. At least 6 children were killed during this military airstrike in Shiro local government in Niger State. Now, the military conducts airstrike in areas where armed group operates. This is understood, but when those airstrikes kill children, that demands accountability, transparency, and a clear explanation of what went wrong. Are these children collateral damage in a necessary operation? Or this is the evidence of poor targeting and inadequate intelligence? The Nigerian military owe Nigerians a full explanation, because we cannot fight insecurity by creating victims of it. Every child killed by a military operation is a family destroyed and a community that loses faith in the government. A government that is supposed to protect them. I will continue to follow this story. We will follow this story and give you guys updates. Story number 11. Power minister sentenced 75 years. He was arrested by 3 a.m. yesterday in Kaduna. Now, this one is a story of accountability over the years, and I need you to understand the full scale of what happened here. Saleh Maman served as Minister of Power under President Buhari from 2019 to 2021. During the time, investigators allege that billions of naira earmarked for Mambila and Zungeru hydroelectric power projects were diverted through proxies, private companies, and bureau de change operators. How much? 33.8 billion naira. That is approximately $24.7 billion. The FCC presented 43 pieces of evidence and called in 17 witnesses. On May 7th, Justice James Omotosho convicted him on all 12 counts. On May 13th, he was sentenced to 75 years in prison. Consecutive sentence, not concurrent, but 75 years in total. But here's the dramatic part. He did not show up for his own sentencing. Maybe I should repeat it again. He went into hiding after sensing the likely outcome of the trial. So the court sentenced him in his absence, issued a warrant, and instructed Interpol to find him. EFCC operative tracked him to Kaduna at 3:30 in the morning on Tuesday. They moved him in. He was arrested alongside two people who were actually actively hiding him. The residence is now under investigation. Now, let me give you a full context that truly makes this painful. 40% of Nigerians had no access to grid electricity. Nigeria is Africa's fourth largest economy and top oil producer. And people are still sitting in darkness. Businesses are running generator. I am currently using a small solar. Hospitals are losing patients due to power failure. And 33.8 billion naira was meant to build power plants that would have changed that story. And one man diverted it through proxies, bureau de change, and operators, while Nigerians sat in darkness. Anyways, he is the first minister who served under Buhari to be jailed for corruption. And he deserved every single one of those 75 years. I hope that they serve him beans that was not done. That is not done. They should serve him rice that is not well cooked. For making me sweat. Story number 12. Desmond Elliot almost got Tinubu's chief of staff fired. And we end today with a story that is equal parts drama, comedy, and a serious political intrigue, because this one involves Nollywood, Lagos politics, and the presidency, and a confession that nobody expected. Chief of Staff to President Tinubu, Femi Gbajabiamila, was addressing APC members in Surulere. When he dropped this bombshell, I almost lost my job as Chief of Staff last year because of Desmond Elliot. And he told the full story. Tinubu called me to his Abuja residence during the Lagos Speaker Obasa impeachment saga and told me, I hear this Desmond is your boy, the one we gave you. He is one of the people causing problems in Lagos House of Assembly. Gbajabiamila defended Desmond, then immediately called Desmond and warned him to withdraw from the situation. 3 days later, the DSS DG called Gbajabiamila and told him his name was being mentioned among the people backing Desmond in the impeachment plot. He called Desmond again and told him to issue a public statement denying any involvement, and Desmond did not do that. Gbajabiamila said, if not for my kind of relationship with Mr. President, I won't be here today. So now, Desmond has responded. He denied masterminding any impeachment. He said he initially believed the directive came from Presidency himself. When Tinubu clarified he never ordered it, Desmond backed off. He described Gbajabiamila's public comment as a shock, saying, my leader coming to say this, that he almost lost his job, it came to me as a shock. Now, let me break this down for you, because the political layers here is deep. What Gbajabiamila told us publicly is this. Tinubu's intelligence network is so tight that he knows who is doing what inside Lagos Assembly. He called his own chief of staff to his house and named names. The DSS was monitoring the situation and reporting back to the presidency. And Desmond Elliot did not publicly disassociate himself from that impeachment plot. He is now facing resistance to his fourth term bid because his godfathers are now removing their hand. Are you getting it? That is what Nigerian power looks like up close. And Desmond Elliot, the man who played loving fathers in Nollywood, just found out that real Lagos politics is different kind of script. It's not Nollywood acting. Don't joke. Let me put this all together for you before we go into the comments. In 1 week, in Nigeria, we have had a teacher beheaded, children adopted, military airstrike killing children, a corrupt minister arrested, a former governor rearrested after getting bail, a coup trial is ongoing, ADC Primary goes delicate, a presidential candidate declared without showing up, Peter Obi locked in as NDC candidate, Amaechi challenging Atiku directly, a chief of staff confessing he almost lost his job, and Cubana Chief Priest getting 14 votes. Now, Nigeria is never boring, I'm telling you. But beyond the drama, there are real Nigerians suffering, right? A real teacher going to work and not coming home. A real children being taken from their classroom. Real money stolen from power projects. And people sit in darkness. The politics matter, but the people behind this politics matter more. Before I conclude, if they could trace this man and arrest him, who told you that they don't know where these terrorists are? Who told that they cannot trace them? Okay, out of all the 12 stories today, which one hits you the hardest? Drop your story number in the comment section. Tell me why. And if you want to see daily rundown every single day, comment daily below. If we get plenty comments of daily, we'll be doing it every morning. Share this video with someone who needs to be informed. Like it so that more people can find it. Subscribe to this channel if you are not already. This is just episode 1 of the daily rundown with Adeoti Abayomi. We will be back tomorrow with everything you need to know that has happened today and all around the world and Nigeria. We'll be back tomorrow with everything that you need to know again. Make sure that your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss it. God bless Nigeria. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.